O Mother Nuit, stretch high above this valley. Your starry body is our glory. Then see the hawk of yonder Rahur quit, his fiery splendor, oh so mighty. He brings a light for all our weary souls. He makes the broken spirit whole.
Spring 1904. You're in a museum in Cairo, right? Following a woman in a deep clairvoyant trance.
Yeah, and she leads you straight to this dusty Egyptian artifact.
Right, and you check the museum's inventory number on it, and it is literally exactly 666.
It's wild.
It really is. And this is the exact moment a localized ancient goddess was transmuted into like the ultimate open source code of the universe.
So today's deep dive is jumping into Aleister Crowley's The Book of the Law. But specifically, we are looking at the mechanics of its supreme sky goddess, Nuit.
Right, because if you look at the stele of revealing that artifact, you see Nut, the traditional Egyptian deity who swallowed the sun each night.
The physical sky goddess.
Exactly. But the 1904 Cairo working fundamentally upgrades her. She stops being just a physical sky and becomes Nut, like the literal embodiment of infinite space and infinite potential.
I mean, it's really like moving from a rigid closed-loop operating system to a vast open-source cosmic universe. But, okay, let's unpack this, because the math of this new system completely breaks my brain.
Oh, the 0 equals 2 thing. Yes. The foundational equation of the lemma is 0 equals 2. If Nuit is infinite space, how on earth does she equal 2?
So the open source analogy actually helps a lot here, but we have to push it further. If Nuit is truly boundless space, she just cannot be defined by a single positive value.
Right, because a positive value implies a limit.
Exactly, a limit or a boundary. So the sum total of the universe has to be 0, a state of perfect infinite equilibrium.
Okay, but hang on. We exist. You and I are having this conversation right now. We clearly aren't 0.
Right, but what's fascinating here is that 0 isn't an empty void in this framework. It contained absolutely all possibilities. It only divides into 2, meaning the observer and the observed purely for love's sake, for the chance of union.
Oh, wow. So we are the division.
We are the division.
So the universe is basically splitting itself into, like, positive 10,000 and negative 10,000 just so it can experience the rush of adding itself back up to 0.
That is exactly the mechanism. It bridges monism and dualism beautifully without needing to redefine them. We're the dualistic division experiencing the ecstasy of returning to the monistic whole. And that cosmic math isn't just abstract theory.
It's basically the literal instruction manual for how you're supposed to operate down here on Earth.
Yes. Because if the universe is infinite space, the ethical rule becomes to bind nothing.
Which brings us to the famous maxim, do what thou wilt, since every man and every woman is a star. But practically speaking, how does this not devolve into total chaos?
Well,
I mean, if everyone is just doing whatever they want, how do you know if you're executing your true will or just being incredibly selfish?
because do what thou wilt is actually an incredibly strict mandate to find your specific destined orbit. In infinite space, there is room for every star, right? Crowley wrote that collision is the only crime.
Oh, so if you are bumping into someone else, creating conflict, it means someone is off track.
Right? One or both of you have strayed from your true will. Selfishness, or hedonism, usually involves pulling others into your gravity. True will is frictionless.
But finding that frictionless orbit requires getting out of your own way. And you can't just think your way into that state. You actually have to break the ego.
You do. You have to realize that the divine is internal, the Khabs, or inner star veiled by the Ku, the outer physical garment. And advanced initiates use very physical, psychological rituals to shatter that veil.
And here's where it gets really interesting. One of the most intense involves cremnophobia, right?
Yeah.
The visceral, paralyzing terror of falling off a cliff.
It's intense. You simulate standing at a precipice and just falling backward, surrendering completely to its infinite nothingness.
It's basically psychological exposure therapy, but instead of curing a fear of heights, you are curing the illusion that you are somehow separate from the universe.
And that's the ultimate takeaway here.
Yeah.
Nuit's philosophy is a radical framework for individual sovereignty. True freedom doesn't come from obeying external laws.
Right.
It comes from an incredibly demanding inward journey to find your own light.
Which leaves you, the listener, with something to really chew on long after we wrap up this deep dive. If every man and every woman is a star, and you are meant to travel a completely unobstructed path through infinite space, what artificial earthly gravitational pulls are currently dragging you out of your natural orbit?